Hi, I'm Celeste and we're at the Sozo Farm Garden and we're on a tour today. Today is July the 9th, is that right? July the 9th. So this is our 50-foot greenhouse right here. And inside of here, the peppers over there are sweet peppers, and they're shaped a little bit long and narrow like what you find at the smaller peppers at like what you might find at Costco. These are poblanos, mostly used for chili rellenos and things like that. And this is a peach tree. It's its first year, so it's a baby. And this over here is our jalapenos. And look at these beautiful purple flowers on, I've never seen purple flowers on a jalapeno, but that is a purple jalapeno right there. And this over here is tomatoes. And you might notice that they are growing up a string that has a pulley at the top of it. The reason we have that is so that as the tomato grows tall, it will go way up like that. We can lay them down and get more length out of them as the season goes on. And this side here will go all the way up there by the time the season is over. You can see already that we have a lot of tomatoes growing in bunches like this. And as these grow up, you'll find bunches and then another bunch and another bunch like that. The reason that we've taken all the leaves off the bottom is because we're wanting them to be planted closer so we can get more of a crop, a bigger crop. If you notice here, we have a hammock that's holding the tomatoes. That's because these are going to get very, very heavy and they will break the limbs off of the tomatoes. So these hammocks will hold the tomatoes from breaking the limbs off. Right here, there's several of them down here. These are, there's 7 tomatoes in this one little area and one branch. That's a lot of tomatoes. Here's some difference too. These are indeterminate tomatoes, which will grow like a vine. And these are bush tomatoes, which are Rama tomatoes, which is like what you would use for sauces. And these grow more bush-like, and they won't get as tall. And then over here, you'll notice a leaf. This leaf is very different from this leaf. You see these 2 leaves? This is a brandy vine, and this is like a traditional tomato. They're very different in their style of leaves, and they're a little bit different in how they grow. But I don't like these as well. I like these better. As you can see, these are producing way better. So let me come over here and I'll show you the watermelon. This is our ground cherry plant. And we already have ground cherries growing. Here's one right here. And as those turn a light yellow, we'll be able to harvest those. And that plant will get probably twice that big. It's going to get very large. These are more pepper plants here, jalapeno plants. And that's a watermelon right there. And that's a watermelon. We don't have any baby watermelons yet. We just have flowers. And this is a cantaloupe here. What you see these ladies doing right here is they're actually pollinating the flowers. They're tapping it like this, and that shakes the flowers. You see Nancy doing and Elisa doing. That's because we don't have a lot of bees that come into the greenhouse, but that helps them pollinate. That's how all of these were pollinated, for all these tomatoes. And these down here are Thai basil, which is used a lot in Thai food. And trying to think of what other country uses that style of basil. Anyway, and then this is your Genevieve basil or sweet basil. We've already gotten 2 crops off the basils. They've done really well. And these big pom-pom flowers, these are pom-pom marigolds, but you're seeing these big flowers.
That's what those are called. I was wondering about those.
Yep. And that's Louisa that you see right back there that just asked that question. That's Louisa. Okay, we're going to go outside now. So this over here is, this is potatoes, and this is russet potatoes. Russet potatoes are indeterminate potatoes. They will continue to produce as you keep hilling them up. They just keep going and going. These 2 rows over here have already been harvested and replanted. They were a yellow variety and a red variety, and we'll harvest our second crop probably the 1st of October-ish. And these right here are shallots. They look like they need water. And this row right here is onions. And you see that their tops have been cut off. And the reason is if you look down here, the bulb is growing. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And because of our weather that we've had, they keep wanting to bolt and go to seed, meaning that they're done growing. So by cutting their tops off, it tricks them into keeping growing and the bulbs getting bigger. And I don't know if you know this about onions, but every layer on an onion is a leaf or a stem that it's shot up. So the more stems that it shoots up and you cut off, the bigger your bulb will be and the more layers. These are green beans in here. We had to replant the green beans, and I'll be really honest with you, these green beans don't look very good. They should be lush and dark green, and they're not. And I'm going to bring out some nitrogen and put on them because they don't look very good. They need more nutrition. We did replant, but this didn't even take here. We've had a hard time with green beans this year. They didn't germinate well. I think our season with the hot and cold, we just had a really hard time. It is flowering. We are getting those, but they should be lush and green, and they're not. So, and these are cucumbers. You can see right here, there's baby cucumber right there. These are all cucumbers along here. We've already harvested maybe about nine cucumbers, I think, off of here. And these are squash and cucumbers along here. And they look, yeah, they do look pale, but if you look at these new leaves, they're looking better. It's these ones that look pale, and I'm not 100% sure. The new growth in there looks good. I think that there was a period of time where it didn't get enough water. That's why the leaves are, here's a nice, big, beautiful flower right there. That's good. So it's going to set fruit soon.
What kind of cukes do you have?
Pardon?
What kind of cukes do you have?
Cucumbers. We have different kinds. We have lemon cucumbers, we have pickling cucumbers, and we have English cucumbers. Okay. Yeah. So this is our peas. This right here would be what you would stir fry with. It's very tasty. And then we have, if you guys can find one that's full. Lance did a really good job picking these. If you notice, these peas look a little yellow down here. That's because these peas are dying. They have served their time. There's no flowers left. Here's a pod with peas in it. This is the last of it. This is the last of the peas. Peas are a cold weather crop. They do not like the heat. And they are done. They are just done. So we're going to be ripping this row out and giving it to the goats soon. And then these squash that are here, they'll fill in this area and maybe run up this fence too. And then this will just be squash and cucumbers here. Okay, this is a carrot row. These carrot rows are about 24 feet long and they're about 2 feet wide. And what we do with the carrots is we just thin carrots as we go along so that the carrots that are small when they start, we keep pulling them out and using them. And right now they're about the size of our little finger, so they're really good for salads. And then if you look right here, here's a carrot right here that is good size. You can see the tops of these 2 carrots right here that are exposed, and they're good sized carrots. They're probably, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches across. So by the time this season's over, we'll have thinned these out, but not wasted any of the carrots. We'll use them as we thin them out. And then the new ones that grow up and they have more space to get bigger and bigger, then we'll be able to harvest them at the end of the year and have a lot of really good juicy carrots. This bed over here is a potato bed. We just harvested all of the potatoes out of this bed on Friday. And we got a total of 240 pounds of potato between this bed and those 2 rows over there. And these were red potatoes, and we just replanted this bed, and it now has yellow potatoes in it. Okay, and then this is more cucumbers over here, and these are beets. These are called cylinder beets. They're not shaped round like a normal traditional beet. They're more like a cylinder, and I thought they'd be fun to try because I think they would be good in a jar for like pickling beets. But these are beets, and you'll see here, this is a drip tape. right here, and then we have them in all of our beds. That's what we water with so that we don't waste water. And this down here is parsnips. And parsnips are like, they look like carrots, but they're white and they have kind of a creamy texture, and they're kind of a sweet a little bit. And these are more cucumbers over here. So this right here is sweet potatoes in here. And if you notice, it's sunny out, but we have this covered, and that's because sweet potatoes love heat. They like lots of heat. And these sweet potatoes have struggled because we haven't had a lot of heat, but they're just now taking off. So we're excited, thinking we might get something out of them. And this right here is dill. It's already gone to seed, so we'll have some dill seeds soon. And then I'll take you over to our square garden bed over here. This is this is fennel. This is fennel right here. And fennel tastes a little bit like licorice. And the bulbs down there are often used for cooking stir fries, but we're going to let this go to seed because the seed in fennel is used a lot in Italian sausage. So you can either harvest the seed and dry it, and then you can have it all winter to put in your meat, like any of your Italian dishes are great with fennel seed in it. And this over here, we planted potatoes in here. They're not up yet, they're new. And these are flowers in here. And this is, I think, a zucchini or a summer squash. All of these squash along this row right here are zucchinis or yellow crookneck squash. And then you'll see tomatoes. Those are Romas. Remember, in the greenhouse, I talked about indeterminate and determinate tomatoes. And the indeterminate tomatoes are the ones that are like vines, and the determinate ones are like these. They grow in bushes, and that's the Romas, the sauce tomatoes. And on the other side of that, let me walk over there. So this over here is eggplant. These are eggplant in that row right there. And that's celery right there, and pepper. And I think we have lavender there. And then these are onions on the other side over here that we also took the tops off so that it would grow bigger bulbs. So you see how this bulb is already getting good sized, and it's already got a new shoot coming up, which we'll cut off in a little while. And then the bulbs will get even bigger and bigger. So we're anticipating having some pretty big onions because of this. So it's only the middle of July. We still have a good month and a half left. So we should be able to get some good sized onions out of it. Okay, so we have different kinds of corn here. See the really tall corn? That's later corn. And some of this shorter corn is corn that's going to be ready sooner. Like here's a short stalk right here. And this is silk right here. And this is tassels. And as these tassels, these little brown pieces right here, they fall down on that silk. And that's what pollinates the corn cob. Every kernel of corn on a corn cob has to be pollinated by these little brown things falling off and hitting the silk. It's a very intricate way that God designed corn. But this is the corn patch, and Jeff Campbell is in charge of the corn patch, and he's done a stellar job getting the corn ready. And it probably won't be a couple weeks, and we probably will be able to harvest some of the corn. So, and that's pretty good for being in the middle of July. So anyway, we water it every night, and it has, it's done beautifully. So thank you for coming on our tour today. It's been really nice. It's a beautiful day, and it's been really fun working in the garden together as a team. And Joel's our cameraman. He's amazing. So thank you.